Hi, my name is Shantae Scott, and I've been molested by my father. I am 46 years old. I am a single parent of four beautiful children. From the age of 5 to 11, I was molested by my biological father. At the age of 11, he attempted to rape me. However, my younger brother had stepped in and stopped him. So at that time, I was removed from the household. I went to school and I told the teacher what was going on. Actually, my mom was around and worked a lot. She was basically the breadwinner of the family, and she worked a lot and she went to church a lot. However, it was seven of us. I am the second oldest. I have an older brother, and then I have five siblings up under me. So in the midst of her going to church a lot, I was that child that was left at home. My father asked her to leave me at home. So that's how that 6 year span had came about. And at the age of 11, when he attempted to rape me, I did tell my mom. However, that same night, he still came in my room and he still tried to pursue. I was the only child that was being molested by him. I remember at the age of 19, he did go to jail. I did ask him why, and at that time, I was roughly 19 and a half, going on 20, and he really didn't give me a clear answer. It was just, he was mad at my mom. That was his answer. My father, as long as I remember, I'm 46, he's always been on drugs. I'm sure the younger children didn't know what was really going on, so they was kind of like, as we spoke, as we got older, they were kind of confused because they didn't even know what happened. Honestly, until a few years ago, they really did not even know what was going on. My mom was one of those people, whatever happens in the home stays in the home. So she didn't talk a lot about it. However, it came out in a book that I wrote. I had a few siblings that said that they heard stories, but they really didn't know exactly what happened. The relationship with my dad's mom was horrible. I later learned that when a family receives a child that's in foster care, they get a check. So that was one of the reasons why she took me on for the check. But when I say it was horrible, it was a lot of mental and verbal abuse. She constantly, every day, called me out of my name, constantly, every day, telling me I lied on her son, and I was just a I was mad because my dad wouldn't let me do certain stuff. She was more of a mental and verbal abuse, and that lasted for like a year. I stayed with her for about a year, and then I ran away because I just couldn't take no more of it. I just ran away, and the only place I knew to go was to my mom's house. That's the only person I knew. At the time, I got back with my mom. I want to say I was going into the 7th, 8th grade, as my memory, allow me. It was hard. I didn't know the emotions that I was having within myself. I know I went through this with my father. I still love my father, but then I didn't understand because my mom was like never there. Because in the midst of all of that, I will say that the school had me to go to counseling. However, I went to counseling by myself. My mom never showed up. And I found out later that she was supposed to, but she never came. So it was just a lie. I kept bad grades. I kept F's. I was skipping school. It was really, really bad. So what happened in the school that I was in for my freshman year, it was kind of a struggle. So my mom thought, well, maybe if I put her in another school district that it'll get better. But even in that school district, I had came across a lot of, just bad stuff. And so I dropped out again. So in the midst of that, I went into the streets. So I got caught up in being in a gang. And that comes with a lot of stuff. That comes with fighting a lot. That comes with violence. That comes with guns. That comes with knives. I got into the gang culture. It was me and a couple of my friends, and we met these guys. We didn't know they was in a gang in the beginning, but we met these guys, and we became friends. So we talked a lot, and this time I'm talking because they gave me the sense that we're going to take care of you. We are going to protect you. We're not going to let nothing happen to you all. So that opened me up to tell them my story about my father. So they were still adamant on, oh, well, we want to protect you. That's not going to never happen to you. That caused me to just be with them every day, all day. So that caused me to see some stuff, get into some stuff because they my family. So if they fight, I fight. And that's how that happened. And I want to say I was about 13 years old when I got in. So I was affiliated with the gangs for 13 to about 17 years old. Actually, I was sexually assaulted in my sophomore year from the rival gang member, and that's why I dropped out. He was a classmate of mine. And what he did, we rode the same bus. We knew each other as the rival gang. So later on that evening, he came as I was leaving off the bus because we rode the same bus together. He came to my home later on that evening, and as I opened the door, he showed me a gun, and he pointed the gun to my stomach, and he told me, if you don't leave with me, I will kill your family. So I didn't know what to do. So I just left out the house with him, got in the car with him, went to the house with him, and there he raped me. And he actually tried to get one of his guy friends to do it, but he didn't want to. So he raped me multiple times, and then he released me, let me, leave and go home. And that following day, I decided not to go back to school, and so I had dropped out. That was the reason why I dropped out. And that happens, it was myself and two of my other friends. We was walking the streets. It was like 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning. We young girls just walking the streets. And this guy had pulled on the side of us. And he was trying to get us in the car. And we was just like, no, no, no. And we didn't see the other 2 guys that was in the back seat. We only seen him. So we was just like, no, we on our way somewhere or whatever. And then the other 2 guys jumped out and pour all of us in the car. However, I was in the middle, so my other 2 friends were able to jump out and get out. They were able to get out the car, but because I was stuck in the middle, I was stuck in the car. So I couldn't get out. And the guy had took me to a hotel room. Once again, I'm so numb, I don't even know how to feel. I was just like, okay, well, here we go again. I guess this is about to happen. And he kept me for 3 days. And do you know, in those 3 days, he never touched me. He never touched me. He made sure I ate. He made sure I had food. But he never touched me. And on that 3rd day, he let me go. He actually drove me. He asked me where I want to go. And I told him to take me to my friend's house. And he drove me to my friend's house and dropped me off. That was the most scariest 3 days ever, because you never knew what the next day, what would happen the next day. Anytime I had to go to the bathroom, he would leave the door open. He would watch me use the bathroom, but he never touched me. He never sexually assaulted me. He never physically abused me or nothing. It was still tough because I still was going through some horrific things. The gang members who I thought were my friends, who I thought were my protector, I was actually gang raped by 5 or 6 of them. And these were the guys that I thought were my friends, because they told me they would never, harm me or nothing like that. But I was actually, and this was after I got kidnapped. So I was gang raped by it was about 5 of them, and they were supposed to be my friends. Then is when I got angry. I wasn't no real angry. Girl, my emotions was just numb. I didn't know how to cry. I didn't know how to do nothing. But now, after that incident, now I'm angry. I was full of bitterness. Now I'm full of rage. So now it was taking a real hard toll on me, where I wanted to hurt people. Now I wanted to be the one to hurt people. So, and I was still 16 when that happened. So in the midst of from 16 to 18, I guess just trying to, when I think about it, I was just an angry individual. And then I got this boyfriend, and then I wound up pregnant. And I'm going to be honest, that was when the light bulb came on. Because the first thing I thought about, I was still running around in the streets while I was pregnant, big and pregnant. But then I had a conversation. So later on, I also did get a boyfriend who was also in the gang. It wasn't quite a rivalry gang, but he had his own gang members. Yes. But the sweet thing about him, even though he was in the gang, he was actually a sweet kid. So now at this time, we both were like 17 years old when I found out I was pregnant. He, He grew up with a single mom. He also did not have a dad. He didn't even know his dad. So he stayed in the projects of St. Louis, Missouri, in one of the projects. So he grew up in the projects. And so the projects is full of gangs, drugs, alcohol, and stuff like that. But he was a sweet guy. Then we both 17, young, with this baby. And that's when the light bulb came on. I knew that I had to make a change because now I'm a mother. I'm not by myself. It's not just about me. I got this baby, so I have to protect this baby. At 8 months, with my first daughter, I was on the bus stop going to the hospital, going to the clinic just for a checkup. And the rivalry gang, so the gang that I was associated with had a lot of rivalries. It was a lot of them. So one of the rivalry gang members seen me on the bus stop, and he actually did a U-turn. I seen him, but I didn't think nothing of it because I'm pregnant. I'm 8 months pregnant. Who's going to harm a pregnant woman? But he made a U-turn in the middle of the street, and he jumped out the car, and he pulled the gun out and it pointed to my face. But it was nothing but an angel because his friend that was in the back seat jumped out, and like I want to say football, like football grabbed him, and kind of like he intervened, so he stopped everything, So, and I was just standing there. I was more in shock, like, oh my gosh, he was going to kill me, and I'm pregnant. But yes, ma'am, that happened when I was 8 months pregnant. Well, actually, while I'm pregnant now, I'm 18, about to have my baby. Me and the father broke up. Mind you, we young. We don't really want to be together for real. It's just so many opportunities out there. So we kind of broken up as boyfriend and girlfriend, but he has always promised me I would be there for the baby, which he was. So after I had her, I went back to school. And in St. Louis, Missouri, we had they call alternative schools. So at this time, the school was strictly for pregnant teens. And so I went back there. I graduated from there. I had to do an extra year, which was okay for me due to me dropping out. And then I had to, had to learn everything all over. I did have to do an extra year, but that was fine for me. But I graduated with my high school diploma in 1995. No, 1996. I'm sorry. So at this time, when I did go back to school and I graduated, my goals were to keep going. What I mean by that, I didn't want to be in the streets anymore. I wanted to just make this life better because now I have a little bitty person with me. I have a daughter with me. It was kind of rough because I had to try to figure things out because, man, I only been in the streets. So I didn't know how to pay bills. I didn't know what bills were. I didn't know how to do none of that. So my mom was a big impact during this time in helping me get what I need to get. And so later on, I wound up going to college. I had to leave within the first year just due to some surgery. But I did wind up going back, and I did wind up getting my college degree. I got my associates in applied science, which is / social work. And I got that in 2010. I went to a community college, and they were so great because they had a daycare center that was inside of the school. So I didn't have to even find a daycare center. I just dropped the baby off with them and just gone on to the class. So it was great. It was great. I graduated from high school at this time, and I'm no longer in the gangs. I'm not hanging out with them anymore. I'm just trying to live my life. I moved back with my mom. So my mom and my siblings was helping with the baby. This was early in the morning. I want to say between 7 and 9 o'clock. I was going to the store, the corner store, and once again, the rivalry gang members seen me. They seen my face. And they once again made a U-turn. Now, these are some totally different guys. Like I said earlier, the gang that I was in, we had a lot of enemies. These guys turned, they did a U-turn, and I couldn't even get across the street fast enough to get into the store to get a protection. They jumped out the car, and they just started beating on me. I remember seeing I remember feeling a footprint on my face. An older guy, I don't know where he came from, but an older guy had came to the rescue. And all I heard him say is, "Get off of her." So the guys ran, but even though they ran back in their car, I was able to kind of lift myself up off the ground, and I literally seen 5 men. These were not boys. These were grown men. And I seen them run into the car, and the older guy was helping me get up because I was having a hard time, because mind you, they was like just hitting me with all kind of stuff all over my body, all over my head. They put a gash in my head. I went into the house. I never said nothing to no one. I hurried up and ran to my room. And this is why it was like that, because I was used to just dealing with stuff on my own. So I had molded myself to just deal with my problems. I never told anyone. My siblings never knew anything. My mother never knew anything. Only thing they knew is I came in the door and I ran in my room. So we're going in my room, going in the bathroom. I doctored on myself. I did the alcohol. I did the peroxide. I learned how to put on makeup. I had the Band-Aids. I literally doctored on myself, and I never told anybody about it until years later. They still never knew nothing about it. And when I say years, I'm talking about almost 20 years later. They never knew anything about it. I did get in church at the age of 19. It kind of encouraged me to just further my education. So I went to a theology school. And I graduated from theology school with my bachelor's, also in social work. And I graduated in 2013, and I'm so proud of myself because I remember being in school, I had such a hard time with school. I always had bad grades. And in theology school, I found out that I was suffering from dyslexia. So I was suffering from dyslexia. However, I graduated with a 3.4 GPA, and I was on the dean's list. First time ever in my life. I have 2 college degrees. And I did write, I got 5 books, but one of them is, it's like a journal where you can write in it and just express yourself. But I do have 4 books. I did process 4 books. So this is my first book. So my first book is called Diary of a Wounded Woman, and that is the book. This book inspired me to talk about my childhood. So everything is in that book, from my dad. I've been molested by multiple family members. It's just everything is in there. When I was in a gang, being kidnapped, being gang raped, being attempted date rape, everything is in there. And so I was going to a therapist, and she asked me, what do I do? And I didn't understand what she was like. Do you color? Do you write? Which I did both. And that was like a stress reliever for me, to color and to write in journal. So I started writing, and then I met a friend who was a publisher, and she asked me, did I ever think about writing a book? And I said, no, but I'll try. And so my friend actually was the one who kind of helped me get these books out. But in the midst of the Diary of a Wounded Woman, it kind of helped me. It helped me in my healing process as far as my childhood. Because I was still, even with going through everything, even with taking care of my children, going to church, and I was still wounded. I was still broken. I was still damaged. I was still hurt. I was longing for a father figure, in the midst of all of that. So this book actually helped me process all of those emotions and heal from those emotions for my childhood. Going to church, I was a minister at this time. I was a dance instructor. I found out throughout the years that I know how to dance. So I was a dance instructor. I was a mentor. I had a lot going on, but I was still hurt. And although I was helping other people, I was still hurt. So this book, The Secrets of a Seductress Church Girl, it helped me get my emotions and get myself together as far as things that I have went through in church, and how, so being a survivor of sexual abuse, over the years, I did seek out therapy. And I want you all to know that therapy, I know it's a taboo situation. It's a taboo word. A lot of people don't want to talk about it, but therapy was the best thing that ever happened to me. So in the midst of therapy, the therapist was able to give me strategic plans on how to do certain things. If anger arises, if you felt really sad one day and you just felt hopeless, she would give me strategic things to do to bring my hope back. So I push it. I'm an advocate of it. Therapy is the best. If you need to go see a psychiatrist or psychologist, do it. If you got the insurance, do it. And even if you don't have the insurance, I promise you, I just believe if you just open up your mouth, somebody will help you. So I am an advocate of therapy, and I'm also an advocate of medicine. I did not mention it, but I was in therapy for 4 years, and I was diagnosed with PTSD slash bipolar 1. All of that has stemmed from my childhood and some of my adulthood. And the medicine helped. Talk, get it out, because the more you get it out, it's your story, it's your truth. No one can tell you nothing different. No one can tell you that you're lying. No one can tell you you need to stop being emotional. It's your story, it's your truth. Get it out. The more you get out, the more relaxed and more peace that you will find within yourself. More hope you will find within yourself when you get it out. I do believe in opening up your mouth. Find someone that you can trust. I just believe when you get it out, when you talk about it, you will get so much peace about it, and your strength will come back. Because when you go through things, it takes away from you. It takes away from your strength. It makes you weak. And when I say weak, your emotions be everywhere. Like you're not stable in your mind. You can't hardly focus. You don't really know what's going on. But talk about it. The more you talk, the more your strength come back. And that's what I want to get to leave with you all. It's okay to go to a therapist. It's okay to get some medicine if you need it. The more you allow your past or even your present trauma to take over you, you giving it power. So take your power back. What's your power? Your power is your peace, your strength, your integrity. Get your power back, brother, and go seek some help. It be worth it. It's worth your time.